I love you, my sweet self. What did you call my daughter?
Lose the accent. I have to mute my television. If Deception wants to sell its product, it needs a spokeswoman who can, I don't know.
She was a part of me, and I was a part of her. I know you can't know what that feels like. Oh my God, I know.
Take Mr. Rome to the car. We're bringing you into protective custody. Don't do it. You know I'm right.
Sure, this is necessary. In order to protect your father, you sacrificed my baby's life.
I am so frustrated with this storyline, and I'm even more frustrated by the comments claiming the baby was Kristina's. Are people just tuning in now? Kristina begged to be the surrogate, and her actions contributed to the baby's tragic outcome. And then she tried to keep the baby away from Molly. That's just wrong. On the other hand, I'm pleased to see many supporting Team Kristina. Legally and biologically, it was Kristina's baby, and she had the right to change her mind, which was understood by all three of them from the start. TJ and Molly were unbearable throughout the pregnancy, and it's unfair for them to act like Kristina can't grieve the loss of her own child. This was biologically Kristina's baby. She almost died herself and had to cope with losing a baby she carried for 8 months, dealing with raw emotions and hormones. She has done an excellent job of showing the true side of this situation. Molly, on the other hand, annoys me with her perfect persona. I've never been a fan of hers. Regardless, all of them need to grieve and come together instead of pushing each other away. This will undoubtedly have a lasting impact. I am so over Molly. She doesn't understand the bond of carrying a child. While it's not her fault she can't carry a child herself, this storyline really upsets me. Kristina has every right to grieve the loss of her child. It seems like Kristina finally got the karma she deserved when Molly put her in her place. Molly has now uncovered what Kristina and her mother were hiding. Kristina wanted to keep the baby, breaking her promise to her sister. I hope Molly and TJ get the support they need from their family, and that Kristina faces the consequences of her disrespectful behavior. Sorry, but Kristina brought a lot of this upon herself. She pushed Molly and TJ to let her be the surrogate. Of course, she fell in love with the baby, but she was going to hurt Molly, her own sister, and break her promise. I'm with Molly on this one. Molly and TJ should have named the baby, in my opinion. Seriously, Kristina agreed to carry the baby for her sister, and then she confronted Ava, putting the baby she was supposed to be a surrogate for in danger. Molly is the real victim here. It's appalling that Molly and TJ don't understand Kristina's deeper sense of loss and how they're treating her. The storyline is a disaster, and the writers have really ruined it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Let's clear something up. The baby was not from Molly's egg. It was Kristina's egg. That makes the baby Kristina's, not Molly's. Kristina's body went through the entire pregnancy. She felt the baby grow and kick. Molly didn't experience any of that, so she really needs to sit down and back off Kristina. Honestly, Molly is just getting on my last nerve. It's almost like she's trying to act sad, but it's clear she isn't feeling it as deeply as TJ. When Kristina cried, Molly's reaction was like, "How dare you cry like that?" Kristina carried that baby for almost 9 months. She was biologically the mother. This whole storyline is a mess. Molly's upset because the baby was TJ's and Kristina's, but she brought this on herself. She's acting as if Kristina has no right to mourn the loss of her own baby. Yes, they're both hurting, but Kristina knew she couldn't keep the baby, even though she wanted to. Molly is right about one thing. If Kristina hadn't gone to see Ava, the baby might still be alive. Kristina is at fault here, and she's going to be hurting for a long time. I'm glad Molly finally confronted Kristina. If Kristina hadn't gone to Ava's, they wouldn't be in this situation. Kristina's low blow about Molly not being able to carry a child, along with calling Iron by another name in front of Molly and TJ, and trying to diminish the name they gave to their daughter, was just cruel. I feel for all of them, but Kristina isn't the victim in this moment. I hope she really hears everything Molly has to say. Molly has always been insufferable. The idea that going to someone's place to talk or argue somehow put the baby at risk is just ridiculous. It's like Molly and TJ wanted Kristina to stay in a bubble. I didn't miss Molly when she was off-screen, and honestly, I could do without her again. I fast-forward through her scenes all the time. Kristina just had a baby. She's an emotional wreck. She also fell out of a window and lost her newborn. Show some grace. I really didn't like that Molly went after Kristina at the funeral. There's plenty of time to fight later, but a funeral should be conducted with reverence for the baby they lost. Also, Kristina should have kept the name she wanted to herself. Molly was out of line. Ava is the one who caused Kristina to fall. Kristina shouldn't have gone to see her. I hate that the baby died, and that Kristina went out the window. Ava is evil. She'll do anything to get her way. Ava needs to go. After the memorial, everyone is raw and grief-stricken. Molly, fueled by seeing documents in Alexis's briefcase at the house, is angry and ready to lash out. Kristina, feeling hurt and excluded, is deeply wounded by being left out of key decisions. People are taking sides, offering opinions, and what has happened will continue to create divisions. Lines are being drawn, and there will be casualties in this family drama. I'm not sure Molly and TJ will get through this, and the sisters won't be the same for a long time. Perhaps once Ava's case against Kristina is resolved, it might help, but for now, it's a mess. Kristina is also being manipulated by everything Kate is using against Sunny. Alexis warned them from day one, but neither of her daughters can see past the hurt they've caused each other. I feel bad for both of them. Kristina carried this child for its entire life, and sadly, Molly will likely never know what that feels like. TJ and everyone else are caught in the middle of this sibling rivalry. Molly's anger toward her sister will only grow as she realizes just how much Kristina loved her biological child, and what Kristina's plans might have been. Surrogacy is not for the faint of heart. It takes real courage to carry a child, knowing you're going to give it up even before you get pregnant. And for some, deciding they cannot go through with it might be an even braver choice. Kudos to those real families out there who have helped others have a child. This is exactly what Alexis feared would happen, minus the baby's death. I can't pick sides because I completely understand both. Kristina should never have carried that baby, especially without having had her own child before. She had no idea what she was doing to herself. I hope Molly continues to confront Kristina tomorrow. Kristina is nothing more than a con artist. She begged her sister to help her have a child only to plot to keep it. Thankfully, Kristina will have to live with the guilt of being responsible for the baby's death. Molly was out of line. I don't care what the agreement was. She can't act like Kristina isn't really grieving, or that she has no right to grieve. Kristina carried that baby for 9 months. Molly has no idea what that's like, so she needs to back off and think about how she would feel if the roles were reversed, and she was the one who lost a baby she was carrying for Kristina. She wouldn't feel any different than Kristina does. I cannot stand Molly and TJ. They need to be written out. How dare they rip into Kristina after she lost the baby too? She cared for that baby for 9 months. She was attached, and they have no right to yell at her like she's not supposed to be grieving too. It's just cruel. Kristina, you can't expect sympathy when you got pregnant by my husband, just so you could backtrack on your promise and make excuses to keep the baby you were supposed to give to Molly. You then decided to have a confrontation when you should have been resting, and that led to losing the baby. You don't get a pass for offering something and then being shocked when people assumed you'd do something selfish, and then you did. I know it's TV, but realistically, the coffin and dirt wouldn't be handled so quickly. Usually, flowers are thrown on the coffin, and the family leaves before the dirt is put in. I can't stand Kristina. I didn't like this storyline, but Molly was supposed to be the mother, And people are acting like she shouldn't be upset just because the baby died. And let's not forget Kristina was hinting she might keep the baby. Watching Molly and TJ act all self-righteous is nauseating. There's a reason you should have a child before volunteering to be a surrogate. You can't control biology or what your heart feels when you connect with that child. Kristina did all this for Molly and even considered not signing the child over because she thought Molly and TJ wouldn't make it. Kristina was going to keep the child herself, knowing Molly wouldn't have any rights. This was Kristina's biological daughter, and for Molly, it was just an idea, especially since the child hadn't been born yet and Kristina hadn't relinquished her rights. Kristina fell out of a window and is recuperating from major surgery. She lost her baby. Molly has no empathy for Kristina, which is disgusting. This isn't about grief for Molly and TJ. It's about entitlement and thinking they're better. I despise this storyline. It's so frustrating and takes away the enjoyment I usually get from watching the only soap I've been following for many, many years. Everyone knew it was a bad idea for Kristina to be the surrogate. She's never followed through with anything she starts, and she made such a big deal about helping her sister get the baby she wanted. In reality, she had no business confronting Ava in her condition and being so verbally combative. She's not innocent in what happened. And to top it off, Alexis was giving her all the attention and comfort. This was like the pin in the grenade. I can't believe the coldness and callousness of this scene. It's shocking how they're treating Kristina as if she doesn't matter, as if she's not important, or that she wasn't that baby's mother. But she is 100% that baby's mother. If you think about it, Molly would just be the stepmother. There's no document stating that Molly is that child's mother, and Kristina has every right to name that baby after Sunny's mom. What a cold, cold scene. No one from TJ's family even consoled Kristina. It's like she was invisible. My heart broke when she was crying at the funeral, and the way her own sister, Molly, was mocking her sorrow was disturbing to watch. It was as if Kristina had no right to grieve. This was a very sickening scene. Molly is getting on my nerves. She's jealous and doing too much. This isn't just any surrogate. Kristina is attached to the baby in multiple ways, and Molly acts as if Kristina is a stranger. She's treating her like she hired her to do a job and expects her to move on now that the baby is gone. I really hate this storyline. So what if she was the surrogate? Kristina carried the baby for 8 months. She felt it. She has some kind of right to say something about the baby. Molly was out of control. She really needs to get some serious counseling. Kristina just lost the baby. Give her some time to recover. She fell out of a window, for crying out loud. This story is sad, and even though it's a soap opera, it happens in real life. I really like Kristina. She's a wonderful actress. I find it interesting how everyone is saying Kristina should have never gone to Ava's, and this would never have happened. Can you guys please tell me why you think that's a legit thing to say? Like, who thinks, oh, I better not go to their place to talk to them about this issue. I might trip on some bags during an altercation, fall out of a window, and lose the baby. No one is thinking that way. It's an accident, a mistake, bad luck, bad timing, but it's not anyone's fault. So let me understand this. Kristina was supposed to put her life on complete pause for 9 to 10 months to ease TJ and Molly. Molly and TJ are really getting on my nerves. If Molly is blaming the loss of the baby on Kristina for going to Elva's room, then why not blame her for leaving the house at all? How was she supposed to know something would happen to her, let alone the baby? As much as the Kristina character has gotten on my nerves in the past, I think she's really being disrespected here. The girl was willing to sacrifice her own body to carry that baby, and now TJ and Molly are ready to discard her after the baby was lost. You'd think Molly would have more compassion for her own sister, but I think she's always been jealous of Kristina anyway. Molly's festering resentment toward Kristina has come to a head. I'm sick of her, and I'm not feeling TJ anymore either. I hope Kristina rips into both of them. Kristina is that baby's mother, whether they like it or not. People, she's pissed because on the day they're burying the baby she planned to raise and loved very much, she just saw the paperwork Kristina was going to file to keep her. This is the baby that she and her husband have desperately wanted for a long time, and now she knows Kristina had already named her. I think everyone is forgetting that Molly didn't have kids. I know it's a soap, but for women who can't carry children, it makes them feel less of a woman, so Molly has every right to be upset. Kristina was never going to give up the baby, and that's messed up. I get that Kristina grew attached to the baby, but she knows her sister can't have kids, and that's not her fault. Kristina had no right to tell Molly she doesn't know how it feels. That was a low blow, so Molly is right for what she said. I know everyone is grieving, but the baby could have been alive if Kristina didn't go see Ava. Simple as that. I said what I said. Kristina went through the insemination process with her own egg, had nausea and all the other pregnancy symptoms. Went to all the ultrasound and other prenatal appointments, felt the baby kick, altered her vitamins and nutrition for the baby, went through back pain and ankle swelling, and all the other pregnancy-related experiences. Molly was never the mother, as the adoption was not finalized. Kristina is legally and fvvsiologtally the mother of the baby that grew in her womb. Molly was never the mother. Do the writers not understand medicine or law? It's clear they do not. Molly was so out of line. During the service, Kristina always called her Irene, but in a moment where she was alone at the grave, she quietly said the name she chose, who was named after Sunny and Rick's mom. Kristina and TJ were the parents while Molly was just the aunt. There was no legal document stipulating that Molly was the adoptive mom. Molly knows that until the baby was officially handed over to her, she was only the aunt. I'm getting a little tired of people saying that since Molly didn't carry the baby, she isn't the mother. Remember, just because someone carries or gives birth to a baby doesn't make them a parent. For Molly, she will for now never know what it's like to carry a child, but in her mind, she was going to be a mother. That's why Kristina was pregnant in the first place. How Molly reacts is normal. This isn't the first baby they've lost, and she's lost. Maybe the sisters should have sat down and talked about this whole thing. Molly wasn't ready to name the baby, and Kristina never mentioned she had named the baby. Kristina should have been honest about changing her mind because, from the start, this situation was a very messy one. Molly needs to back off. I get that she is grieving, and she has every right to, but her acting like Kristina doesn't is just wrong. I don't think what Molly is feeling is only grief. She's angry about the papers, jealous and resentful towards Kristina for actually being able to have a child. She's also probably mad at herself for not listening to Alexa's and TJ's warnings about letting Kristina be the surrogate. Everything she's feeling just erupted all over Kristina. With all that being said, however, whether Molly likes it or not, this was Kristina's baby. Molly would not have been the mother until she officially adopted her, and Molly knew that. How can anyone expect Kristina not to be devastated? This was her biological child. Her grief is very much justified. Not to mention, she just had the baby. She's all hyped up on pregnancy and postpartum hormones. For her to act any other way, other than grief-stricken, would be weird. Considering Kristina had never been pregnant before, she had no way of knowing how attached she would get to this baby. Alexis warned her, but no one listened. If Kristina, Molly, and TJ had listened to the warnings Alexis gave from the very beginning, none of this would have happened. Molly knew the risks of asking Kristina and went against her better judgment because she was upset about the previous surrogate's miscarriage. This is not only on Kristina, and everyone involved has a right to grieve in their own way. Emotions are running high when you're dealing with a situation like this. It's really not a time to blame one person or the other. Having birthed 2 children myself, I know the mood swings. Unfortunately, Kristina had no clue what she was getting herself into and did not realize the bond she would have with the baby she carried for 8 months. That being said, her mother warned her and said she should not do it, and others said it was not a good idea for her to carry a child for her sister Molly. So both Molly and Kristina have valid emotions, and I don't hate the storyline like some people are saying. These things happen in real life. Kristina knew just by TJ's constant contempt, telling her where to go and who she could see, that TJ was going to cut her out of the baby's life. Did everyone forget the conversation when Molly came to Kristina's apartment, venting about TJ questioning if their relationship would last? That's what started Kristina questioning their relationship. It's always the woman carrying the baby's baby until they officially sign it over to the couple. Many women change their minds and keep the baby. This storyline is horrible. No one expects danger when visiting someone, and certainly not to be pushed out of a hotel window. Molly getting so mad at Kristina for losing the baby is unfair. It wasn't her fault. Kristina didn't know she would get pushed out of a window and almost killed. Let's be real, it was the person who pushed her fault. I'm glad to see Joss and Trina made up, even when it comes to Ava. Trina should be learning some hard truths about Ava, but I'm still unsure how that will play out. Speaking of, I don't believe Jagger would kill Ava, but if Ava wants to do the right thing, she should have gone with Sunny. They're all being unreasonable and insensitive to each other in different ways. But one thing is clear, Kristina carried, loved, and nurtured that baby. The fact that she cared enough to take action in case there were issues with TJ and Molly shows how much she truly cared. They've all made mistakes. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.